So this officer arrived on the scene and said the suspect is a male subject. I'm not the suspect. So I don't know if you got the call or not. Oh.
Yeah, you were hitting the lady?
Yeah, so the guy inside the truck hit me in the leg first. He was parked over there.
Who's the guy in the truck?
In the wheelchair.
Okay.
The man in the wheelchair drove from where I'm pointing to where I was standing over there, and he drove his wheelchair into my right leg. I told him not to hit me with the wheelchair, He pressed forward anyways, and he struck me with his wheelchair. Okay. Then his friend drove a little bit faster and hit me with the wheelchair as well to back up his buddy, and he drove his wheelchair into my right leg.
Yes, ma'am.
He drove his right leg and his wheelchair into my right leg, and it burned, like a burning sensation and a scratch against my right leg.
You want to take a seat over there at that concrete bench while I go talk to them, and I'll come back to you?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Steve, you need to come over here. I'm not actually just fine. I need to come up.
Oh, so
Here for you?
yeah, that dude in that wheelchair rammed his wheelchair at about like 6 miles. Well, I don't know how much force, how fast it was going, but he rammed his wheelchair into my right leg.
Okay.
This scratch right here.
Okay.
This scratch right here, you can't really tell. Well, you can see them now. You can see those two scratches now.
Okay.
Came from his wheelchair.
Okay.
And there's no blood, but the pain is beneath the surface. It's like a burning, like red, like a runny, burning sensation underneath my skin. And it came from the front, where his feet are. Okay. There's like a metal plate where his feet sit, and that is what he used to ram into my legs.
Okay.
From like 10 feet, like where I was behind that bus.
Okay.
And so the man rammed so hard into me. His wheelchair was like leaning against. He went over the edge, so his wheelchair started leaning against the ground. So I was standing here, and where you are is how he rammed into my legs.
Okay.
And then I moved out of the way, and he kept going, and then he rested his wheelchair against the sidewalk. Well, it was half off, half on. And then they had to lift his wheelchair off the curb to put him back on the road. But that man rammed his wheelchair into my leg, and it's like a burning right now.
Here's a nice pack there.
Thank you.
You can put that right on. That should help with any of that sensation you got going on there. So.
It's like
any other
that's
injuries for
perfect.
you at all?
No, that was it. The burning. There's like a burning feeling beneath the skin.
Yeah, we'll have PD kind of figure out what to do next for you. But other than that, is there anything else we can do for EMS wise?
No, that was it. Just that burning sensation was all I needed.
Sounds good. Yeah, so just hang out on here. They'll probably touch base with you with what they got to do next for you. Okay.
Got it.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night. All right.
Yep. I have freedom of speech. So I just overheard the man saying, even if you accuse the drivers of first student of stalking, these people still have a right to do something. But even if that's true, I still have a right to speak freely. So even if I believe I'm being stalked, I have a right to say that. And if somebody who contradicts me, somebody wanted to contradict me, they have that right, but they can't stop me from speaking freely. They can't attack me because I had a belief that somebody was stalking me. This man, my leg is burning. Like right now, right beneath the skin, my leg is burning. They don't have a right to ram their wheelchairs into my legs because I accused the first student driver of stalking. And then this black lady, the black lady there, she said that she never saw anybody ram into my legs while I was talking to 911 dispatch. But she stood right next to both of these people as they rammed into my legs. So she just lied to protect. Yes.
Can I talk to you?
Sure. So the woman just lied to protect the people that she came to pick up.
Okay. What happened?
So I was walking outside, and as soon as I did, I saw another first student driver.
Yeah.
And for the last 3 months, I've been complaining on the internet
Okay.
about seeing these people.
Okay.
And they're going to lie and excuse the fact that they just got a recent contract to justify all the times I've seen them.
Okay.
But that's that means that business picked up. But that's not the case.
Okay.
These people have been showing up wherever I go, wherever I am. And even if I'm like miles away from the city, I've seen these people in like I go to remote places like state parks and places or
Do you see this specific van?
not this specific bit, but as a
You see
group.
them? Okay.
As a
Yeah.
group. So it's like a group of people doing bad things, working for a company, and doing things, inappropriate things while they're at work,
Like what?
like stalking.
Okay. Stalking you?
Yes.
Okay. Do
So-
you have an idea on you by chance?
Yeah, I do. But my point is, if you allow me to finish.
Yeah. I'm
My
listening.
point is, I came out here and I said the words, "Go fuck yourself."
Okay.
I've said that for the last 5 years to the people I believe are stalking.
Yeah.
When I said that, I looked behind me. The man inside the bus, the man that was inside the bus now, was sitting over there,
Okay.
and he yelled out, "Go fuck yourself! That's my ride."
Okay.
And then I turned around and I said, "Don't talk to me.
Okay.
I wasn't talking to you. This had nothing to do with you.
Right.
I don't know who you are. Don't talk to me."
Okay.
And then he decided to drive from there instead of to his bus to where I was standing
Okay.
behind the bus.
Behind the bus.
And then he said, I'm about to fuck you up. I'm about to fuck you up. I'm about to beat you up. I'm about to fuck you up." And then he ran me with his wheelchair. I told him, "Don't touch me. Stop talking to me. Go fuck yourself. Leave me alone." And he said, I forgot what he said, but he kept saying things like, "You shut the fuck up," or "I'm about to fuck you up," something along those lines. And then he said, "I'm going to hit you with my wheelchair.
Okay.
I'm going to hit you with my wheelchair. You want that to happen?" And I said, "Don't touch me." And then he said, then the black guy came over and he said, "Hey, don't talk to him." And I told him, "Dude, I have the black guy on the back that's sitting in the that's standing right there."
In the red shorts, white shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
He told me, "Don't talk to the guy in the wheelchair that's
Okay.
on the bus."
Okay.
He said, "Don't talk to him." And I told him, "Hey man, you should be directing your attention towards the man in the wheelchair and asking him to get on the bus."
Not talking to you.
Not talking to me.
Yeah.
Instead of directing me to do something, you should be directing the guy you came to pick up to get on the bus.
Right.
And leave the guy who is standing there exercising his freedom of speech or whatever the hell he's doing alone. But instead of doing that, he pointed at me. So I thought this was a gang up. Or they were protecting the guy in the wheelchair. But anyways, after I told him, "Dude, direct your attention to the guy in the wheelchair," the guy in the wheelchair pushed his cart into my leg.
Okay.
He hit the whatever electric switch.
He drove.
He drove into my leg,
Which leg?
my right leg.
Your right leg.
And then I moved out of the way just slightly. It was pushing up against my leg, so I had to move. And then that dude overheard.
We don't need to point. I can see it.
The other guy in the wheelchair
Yeah.
overheard everything that was happening.
Let's keep moving over this way.
The other guy in the wheelchair overheard the things that were happening. He was parked over there as well.
Okay.
And then he decided to drive his wheelchair all the way from where he was into my right leg.
Into where you were.
So he drove at a higher speed and he rammed me with his wheelchair.
In your right leg.
In my right leg.
Did he like run over your foot? Did it hit you in the knee? Did it hit you in the
I'm
shin?
sorry. So yeah,
You
you
can
can
record
see
it.
you can see the first mark is this white mark here,
Yep. Where it
and then
stumped you?
and then the second mark was right here, but I think I wiped it off with the
Okay.
ice pack.
With the ice pack, yeah.
So there was 2 marks on my legs, 2 white marks. There's a burning sensation beneath the skin,
Okay.
like it still burns. It's
Irritated?
like it's like a burning
Okay.
pain, and it's just burning in 2 spots,
Burning.
like somebody scratched you really hard.
Yeah.
That's what I feel beneath my leg, and he drove so fast that he couldn't stop, and he ended up with his wheelchair halfway off the curb.
Okay.
So his wheelchair was on the sidewalk and on the street.
And on the street. Okay.
And the black lady lied to. While I was on the phone with the dispatch,
Yeah.
she was yelling, "I didn't see anybody hit you with a wheelchair."
Okay.
But that's not true.
Okay.
The woman was standing outside the bus while that man rammed his wheelchair into my leg.
Okay.
And
Were there any words exchanged? Did he say anything to you?
he was just mouthing. He was mouthing. So I don't think he can speak.
Okay. So who's the one that was saying to you that they're gonna?
The guy on the bus.
Is there another passenger?
Yes, there's another dude in the wheelchair. So two dudes with wheelchairs rammed their wheelchairs into my legs.
So two of them.
Both of these guys.
So this guy here, and then there's another guy inside.
Yes.
Okay.
And if anybody was watching, they think like two handicapped people attacked me,
Yeah.
or with wheelchairs.
And you got hit in both
in
the right leg.
in the
from
right
both
leg.
times?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think they planned this out, dude. I'm pretty sure because I've been telling these drivers for the last maybe 3 months, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
As when I see them at intersections, when I see them in front of my house, when I see them as I go to a gas station, when I see them go to a doctor appointment, or when I see, I'm so sorry. There are numerous occasions that I can't recall where I've seen these people exactly when I arrive to a location, or exactly when I leave.
You're saying that you're feeling stalked by them.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I believe they recall me saying those words as often as possible. So like coming outside here at 10 o'clock and walking outside and seeing these people. And then I think they plan to have their occupants, the people they pick up, do something in retaliation to the comments I may have made over the last 3 months.
So just to get it straight, so my partner hears it too. The last 4 months, every time you see first student bus, you tell them to essentially go after yourselves.
Or when I make a tweet, so for example, I tweet something very smart about gravity or energy or something about physics or weightlifting or something like enriching.
Okay.
These people, a driver shows up at an intersection within a minute of that tweet.
Okay.
And
you see them wherever you go, and you go to remote spaces like the state parks, for example, and you see them.
Yes.
So you feel like they've been stalking you.
Yes.
And now you feel like the company themselves are having their passengers.
No, I believe it's employees separate.
You believe it's the employees from the company
Yes.
encouraging their passengers to find you and to potentially cause you harm.
Yes.
Like ramming you today.
Yes. This is the first time this has happened.
Okay.
So
can I get your ID now?
Yeah.
That you've shared your part, and then my partner might have some questions for you.
Yes.
So medical was already here. They checked on you. They gave you an ice pack
for the burning.
You refused transport. You didn't want to.
No, there was no need. He said, "There's no bleeding." Well, no, he asked me if there was bleeding. I told him no.
Okay.
Just burning, and he gave me an ice pack.
Okay.
He
told me you might have questions.
I gathered the necessary stuff from like when we first were chatting. So once my partner's done, I'll kind of just talk to you about what's going to happen next.
Are you going to arrest those guys?
I will not be arrested.
What was the reason not to?
So it's the totality of it.
But
I don't think their intent was to cause physical harm to you.
But they did, whether they intended to or not. So why are you nodding your head up and down?
Because the statute for battery requires intent.
But he drove from that corner straight into my legs.
So I think there was some type of misunderstanding with that gentleman, and like with I know how you said you were going up to the bus and like what's going on with the stalking and stuff. So I think when he was telling you to like go away, and when you were yelling at that, he was just going to his bus to get the transportation.
No, he went.
Arranged.
I stood behind the bus, so I was nowhere near the entrance where he normally goes.
Yeah. I'm not saying you were like blocking him from getting on or anything, but your intervention with that.
It had nothing to do with him. So I was talking to the bus driver. He interjected from 20 feet away.
Yeah. Well,
so he yelled out from a distance in a conversation that had nothing to do with him. Or I didn't address him, so there was no need for an interaction. So he redirected his attention from his driver to me, and there was no need. So I think there's intent. He directed his attention towards someone that had nothing to do with his like getting on the bus. So there's an intention to interact with somebody, and then there's an intention to push your wheelchair into somebody else's legs. And then his friend from the same distance drove directly towards my legs and did the exact same thing. I think they know to attack people's legs. Like, they can do that with their wheelchairs. They can knock someone's legs over. And that's exactly what they tried to do. And one did it so bad that half of his wheelchair was on the side of this, half off the sidewalk, half on the sidewalk, half on the street. So I'm firmly believing they intended to hit me with their wheelchairs. There wasn't an accident. It wasn't it was on purpose.
Yeah, I agree what you're saying. But the decision stands. Like, I'm not going to be arrested.
So you're going to let people hit people with their wheelchairs?
We had a conversation about it.
That's not appropriate, dude. My leg is burning. That's not a fair assessment of, you can't allow that behavior to continue or to ever occur.
Yeah. Well, you also, kind of agree insult. You really shouldn't go up to buses yelling at them.
It's freedom of speech.
Well, there's a line of freedom of speech and disorderly conduct.
It's a First Amendment protected free speech.
But when you're causing a disturbance, that when other people have to call us, then it changes.
No, dude. Protest occurs at any time, any place, on public ground. So it has to be private ground or a property that somebody owns in order to cry out that someone is disturbing the peace. As long as you're on public ground, you have a right to speak freely, as loud as you want. So you have to move yourself from public to private ground. So you questioning my freedom of speech is not appropriate. Is a wrong thing to do right now. I'm not even into First Amendment. So I'm not into that stuff. But I do know you have a freedom of speech, and I do know, depending on the ground you're standing, you can protest freely. And so judging my voice, well, what I said is inappropriate. Judging their actions is what your job is here. What you're supposed to do. He hit my legs, and I didn't give him permission to do that. I didn't give him permission to touch me or to strike me in any way with his wheelchair. And I think you're trying to protect this behavior. I think you're using your badge to protect this person and this behavior, instead of protecting what should have been my freedom of speech and my ability to not be harmed because I spoke freely.
So once my partner gives you back your driver's license, that will kind of conclude this investigation.
What's your name?
Harvey, number is 597.
What's your first name?
And then invite him to.
Okay. You do realize what you're doing, right? You're allowing someone to hurt somebody else.
Not at all what we're doing.
But you do realize my legs hurt, and they're not supposed to be hurting right now.
Yes, and that's why the paramedics were called. That's why they cleared you.
But you do know that they weren't hurting before he struck me with his wheelchair, and they are hurting after. So you're letting that happen.
There's nothing to let happen.
Well, it's going unpunished.
Because their intentionality of their acts does not meet the statute.
So you're saying it was an accident? It was an accident?
I'm not saying it was an accident.
So it's not bad enough.
It's not a battery. A battery did not occur.
Disorderly conduct. You said my voice could be disorderly.
Yes,
his actions could be equally disorderly.
I'm not saying I disagree with you, but I'm taking in the totality of the circumstances.
Yes, you can't strike people with wheelchairs.
But also, I'm taking in your involvement of this, because if you wouldn't have approached that bus,
I have a freedom to talk to that person.
And so that individual had a freedom to go up to that bus and stop you from harassing his driver.
And he doesn't have the right to put his hands to touch me with his wheelchair or to strike me with his wheelchair, to say, I'm going to strike you, and then strike me with his wheelchair.
Again, that's where that differs of his intentionality of hitting you with the wheelchair.
I think you're making it up because there's nothing I can do about it. I think you're making.
I'm not saying there's nothing you can do about it. You did the right thing. You called the police. You had an ambulance come, and this is just the outcome of it. It's obviously not what you're desiring, but that's just
history. Usually, when you hurt somebody, you get in trouble for it. It doesn't matter if it was an accident or on purpose. If you strike somebody, you're supposed to be held accountable for your actions.
Well, this is a little bit of a different type of situation. I think you're smart enough to understand that.
No, I don't see a difference. I know it's like a strict rule. Don't hurt people, and you won't be in trouble. And if you do hurt somebody, you're going to get in trouble. There is no legal threshold. If you cause harm, you're getting held. You're going to be in trouble for it. That's what I know. It's not a game to be played in a courtroom. It's right here, right now. If you hurt somebody, you're going to be held accountable for it. The judge will decide if it's worth. I don't know, but I do know you're not supposed to touch people. You're not supposed to hurt people, and that's what that man did. He rammed into my leg. My leg is burning, and it's not supposed to be burning because of the words I spoke. And I think you're trying to teach me that people can hurt you just a little bit, but not get held accountable for their actions.
Not at all.
Then why isn't he being held accountable for his actions? What did you say to him?
We're going in a circle.
How did you punish him for his actions?
So there's no punishment for his actions here because a battery didn't occur. That's what I was investigating.
So what did you call striking somebody with the wheelchair?
That differs based on the situation because that's not what the situation was.
He didn't strike me with his wheelchair?
You're using the word striking in like an assaultive manner.
So how would you describe his wheelchair? One last question. How did you describe what he did to me with his wheelchair?
He approached you, and in the process, the wheelchair hit your legs.
That's not what happened. He stopped, and then he drove forward after telling me, I'm going to hit you with my wheelchair. So you are literally protecting this person from getting in trouble. And you're staring at me like I'm not making sense. But you just told me the rules, and you're now protecting him. Holy shit, dude. And now you're looking at me like I'm stupid, or like you have a blank face on you. Blank face.
We're just going in circles here. Do you have any other questions for me?
No. What's your name, sir? I'm so sorry.
No, you're good.
I just need your name. I don't need the
You don't want it?
No, I just need your name.
Lima Hernandez. Officer Lima Hernandez.
Okay, cool. That's crazy. You guys gonna let this dude burn my leg? Well, hit my leg. It's burning because I used free speech, and then tell me I was the wrong guy for speaking freely. I was kind of twisting it to make it seem like I was a bad guy, but I don't hit people. I use free speech. That's it. I'm not here to hurt people, and what that man did is inappropriate, and he wasn't supposed to be able to do that. Do you have a case number or something I can reference?
The event ID number?
Yeah, I can leave it for you 1 second.
Hey, do you have a phone number by chance?
608-733-8446.
8446.
Yep.
Do you use email?
Yeah.
What's your email?
JMLATTIMOREIII@gmail.com.
At Gmail?
Yep.
Thank you. Do you want us to write down this number for you?
You can just say the case number.
Okay.
2024-29943.
2024-29943. Got it. Make sure this is 2024-29-43.
29943.
29943. All right, cool. I will. I'll try to get those body cam footage, but I'm so I can see what you told those people. But I'm almost positive that what he did is illegal, and you can't strike people with your wheelchair. And I think you're protecting him. That's my opinion. He's not supposed to do that. You're not. My leg's not supposed to be hurt. That's the end of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So they just protected 2 handicapped rapists and the first student driver. They're gay, and he just smiled. The bus driver just walked up to, so he's smiling. Holy shit! The bus driver, the police officers just walked up to that dude and started smiling. And they're smiling with each other like it's okay. What just happened is okay. They just smiled. He just smiled again. That cop just got in the car and started smiling again. He smiled at those people and those people too.
What happened, bro?
So those 2 dudes in the wheelchair just ran me over. Well,
You over?
Rammed me with their wheelchairs. And then this officer told me that if you can't prove intent, you can't prove that that what they did is illegal or it has is battery.
We got to get him connected to Kobe.
Kobe, yo.
Yeah. So make sure you prove intent when someone strikes you. So I told these people to go fuck themselves, and then they sent 2 handicapped dudes to ram me with their wheelchairs. And then the police told me I can't say go fuck yourself in public. Go fuck yourself! To these 2 handicapped rapists on public ground. So that's what they said. That's what they said. You can't tell rapists. Wait, you can't tell gay people to. You can't stop gay people. Wait, you can't speak freely. He said if you speak freely in public, it's disorderly conduct. But that's not true. Someone has to solicit a disorderly conduct, 1. And 2, if you're on public ground, you can speak freely as loudly as you want. The ground you stand on has to be private property or somewhere someone can control your voice. But in public, there is no volume control. You can speak freely as loud as you want. So that officer didn't know his First Amendment rights, and he's educated. He has a nerdy look on his face. You see how nerdy he looked? He looks like someone who's educated well enough to speak freely. Well enough to know he protected those people from being arrested. And then he got on the bus and started smiling at the black guy and smiling at the bus driver and laughing in my face. Because no one's ever going to hear or know about what I just posted.